This one, fruity. Oh, hey up, everyone. It is, guess what day it is today, folks? It's Wednesday. And it is Wednesday's guitar lessons from the book class, but it isn't a lesson from the book this week. It is actually a lesson that is fresh. It's a new one, and it looks like I'm flying solo again today. Mrs. Ricky will maybe be back in a bit, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I've had to make my own cup of tea here. So this is the Circle of Thirds mug. There you go. You can see it there. It's got a good old Yorkshire tea in it. I'll say, hey up. Hey up. Hope you're doing well out there. And so, yes, today's lesson, like I said, this is a continuation of last week's lesson. We didn't get through everything last week. And basically, what I want to do is just kind of recap. Make sure, once we go through the roll call and everything else, I'll make sure that everybody's, on the same page as much as I possibly can. If you've not seen last week's lesson at all, then you might have to watch that. Then that's probably the best thing to do. But essentially, I'll kind of boil it down to this idea. What we're going to do is we're going to do a minor 2-5-1. Now, last week I showed you a major 2-5-1, which is why I was just thinking about that when I was playing here. So what we could do is we can take the 2 chord, the 5 chord, and the 1 chord from the key that we want, which in this case we're using C major, and we can play that. But if we want it to sound darker and moody, which is going to suit our blues stuff, then what we can do is we can use and we can borrow from another key. Now, when I say another key, I actually mean another tonality. What we've done a lot on this channel is we've talked about things being in major or minor, but last week I showed you that there were actually 3 minors. There's the natural minor, which belongs to the major, that diatonic chord relationship there. And then I showed you harmonic minor, briefly got into melodic minor. I'm not going to dig into melodic minor today. But the important one was to dig into the harmonic minor, because that's where all the good stuff is for today's lesson. And essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to do the 2-5-1 from the harmonic minor, but we're really kind of straddling the natural minor as well. We can think in both ways. So that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. So I will be showing you some chords, which is cool. I've got some cool chords here, and I'm going to show you some scale patterns that you can play on top of those chords. Yes, in PDF Club, I think last week I uploaded a backing track of this 2-5-1 as well, so you could play along with that. But you can get your looper, you can do all that sort of stuff where you can play the chord, record it in your head and play along with it, just because that's the way I kind of understand it, and listening to that tension and release that we talked a lot about. Well, I talked a lot about last week. So that's what is going to happen today. I'm going to show you some patterns, and if we get some time, then I'm going to show you how this diminished comes about as well, because the thing of it is that I explained last week, which I'm going to restate again, is when we talk about diminished, people often get confused about half diminished and full diminished. Yes, so the thing is, half diminished, we can think of it in the diatonic, the major and minor keys. Major key, it's going to be chord 7. Minor key, it's going to be chord 2. But that's the half diminished. There's no full diminished chord in the regular major or minor tonality. The only place that diminished chord really lives is chord 7 in the harmonic minor. Okay, now if you're already thinking, what the hell's Ricky on about? Don't worry, we shall go through it, and hopefully these chords are easy to play. The scales are something that you just have to get under your fingers, and something to practice. And that's the whole idea, is to take the theory and put it into something that you can actually practice, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So like I say, I'll be showing you these chords, and then you can play them. So you can ignore you can ignore all the theory, but I know a lot of yous out there, you want to understand where this stuff comes from, because once you understand where it comes from, then you go, all right, okay, so I can see the connection between that idea and that idea and that idea and that idea, and you become more joined up in your thinking. Okay, so that's the basic gist that we're gonna do today. Now, even though it's not a lesson from the book, I'm still going to talk about the book, because you know the book and PDF Club is how I pay the mortgage. So I'm going to be I'm going to put that up there. Where is it? It's there. Is it there? Where are we? Oh, we're in the main camera. Okay, let's have a look. Are we locked? Let's have a look. We haven't even got this up. Is that up? Oh, unlock. It says unlock. I've locked. Something's locked. I've tweaked some bits, guys. I've been tweaking some bits, and I think that's what's going on here. It's not letting me. Scene locked. Okay, unlock that scene. Oh, there we go. I think that means it's. Hey, look. So we've got the ticker on there. Today's lesson. I've like I say, I've been tweaking this, and I'll put my timer on. Oh, that's a little bit high up, isn't it? I didn't tweak that bit. I didn't try that bit. Let's put this up here. Yeah, so there's the counter. So I'm going to try and keep the waffle. When that timer ends, I'll try and keep the waffle to there. You know, if what are the odds? What are the odds? Let's see. Let's do it for the fun of it. So here we have the advert for the book. And what's the book? If it's your first time, let me know. Let me know for the roll call, and we'll say hello to you. The book is 80 lessons. I wrote it back in 2022. Well, I compiled it back in 22, but it's from all my lessons on my YouTube channel that goes back to, I think, 2009. I've been at it a while, guys. I think I've been at this YouTube thing quite some time. So 80 lessons in the book there. If you want to get that there, then you can get it in paperback, in spiral bound, or in an ebook version as well. But if you got the ebook version, what happens is all the videos that are related to the lessons in the book, as well as being available on YouTube, they are also available in the Fretboard Fraternity. And I understand Mrs. Ricky said to me, she posted a question earlier on that I asked her to put up, that there's a there's a lot for me to go through in there. But the Fretboard Fraternity is just a free online guitar community where you can come and hang out and just talk guitar, get away from all the nonsense in the world, and that's what it's all about. A safe haven to come and talk guitar, music, and all that sort of good stuff. So that's the Fretboard Fraternity. The PDFs for today are going to be, and I got a bit carried away. I got a bit carried away when I was doing some of my PDFs. For some patterns, but there's just so much to show you that I thought, hang on, I'd best be really, really concise about this and put loads of different patterns together just to show you, because I really want to get into this diminished stuff. So PDF Club is the only place you can get this for now. The diagrams that'll pop out today. Don't know how many diagrams I'm going to get through. I know I've got 4 here. I've got some of last week's as well. And I've got some that are backed up, because I've set up, hopefully, a nice little interactive on-screen way of showing you these diagrams, which is cool. Right. So that is that business over and done with. And now all it remains for me to do is to read the roll call, see who's in the chat, see who the miscreants are. And like I say, if it's your first time, let me know. I'll give you a shout out. And I think we've got some other little tools in here that I might see if I can implement. I don't know if I can add them in yet, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Winston Moy is in the chat. Waffle Wisdom Wednesday. Oh yeah. Oh dear. I've got some cable issues there going on there. Randy Smith, howdy from 100 degrees South Carolina. That sounds hot. Jerry Linde in Sweden. Robin Tate, another Wednesday, another great guitar lesson. Well, I hope so. Carl Whitehead, Hey up, Ricky. Can't join live. Brum for Blackberry Smoke. All right. And Leonard Skinner gig. Oh, yes. Get in there. Oh, you've got to do that. Music in equals music out. WWW time. Mike Idzio, I have my pen paper ready for my guitar lesson. I have learned more in the past 6 months watching Ricky than the previous 20 years of fiddling around. Much thanks. Well, thank you for saying that. I'm hoping that's Chris Huston. Where's your usual username there, Chris? Oh, it's changed. Well, there you go. Eyup from sunny southern North Carolina. Chris Huston is highly motivated and seated for class. Eyup all. Eyup to you as well. Roger Smith is in the chat. Jerry Eisenhower. Eyup from Miramar Beach, Florida. Rainy days. It's been a bit rainy here, to be honest. But to be honest, you know when you're enjoying the weather, but you think to yourself, I'm going to go to the garden centre. I went to the garden centre and I bought some nice plants. And over here, we've got a hosepipe ban. We're not allowed to water our gardens. Yeah, and the last 2 days, it has thrown it down. And I'm so glad of it because all the plants that I bought the weekend, they're not going to dry out and die because I planted them. So that's what I'm happy about, So that's one of those things, it needed to rain. So rainy days, we need those rainy days to know the good days. I think that's one of those things, isn't it? Scuba Trooper, hit the like button, definitely. If you're in here, let's have a look. 115 people in here, 53 likes. Come on, guys. Wallop that like. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I don't really ask for the subscribe that much, but if you don't subscribe and you don't turn on notifications, you won't get the notification of this lesson every Wednesday at 7 p.m. unless you just turn up. Unless you've got a good memory. You might have a good memory. But I don't. So I'd probably forget. So make sure you hit that subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Susan Carr is in here from Central Texas. Irene S. from Petaluma, California. Dem Ravens is in the chat. Happy Joy is Wisdom Bomb Wednesday. Yes. Scuba Trooper. Yes, Scuba Trooper. Chris Houston is here as well. Have we got two Chris Houstons? That just looks odd. Chris Houston is maybe two. Scott Simmons, howdy Ricky and Mrs. Ricky. Mrs. Ricky's she's in a she's a school governor, so she's got to do school governor business, and that's where she is right now, taking care of the world and kicking ass, chewing gum and taking names. That's what she's doing. So Graham Wood, hi everyone from sunny East Yorkshire. Scott Simmons is early today. Got a used Taylor straight. Oh, hang on. Someone's celebrated a new guitar. We've just got to celebrate that. A used Taylor 12 string. Mind you, a 12 string. You know what I say about 12 strings? They're good. They're all right, but it is sweet. I will tell you, if any of you watch Uncle Larry, the Tom Bukovac, he did a video this week. I caught what came up on my homepage, and he was playing a 12 string in that, and it was absolutely stunning, the sound. If you want to check that out, Tom Bukovac, he's a channel that you should be following, actually, because Uncle Larry gives some sage advice out there. So I recommend that. But 12 string, yes, but the D28 is still my baby. There you go. Oh, Scott, thank you very much for that. Scott there, being very, very generous. Appreciate that. That'll keep the roof on for a bit. Time for Ricky. Thank you. Appreciate that very, very much. David Doty, still scratching my head from last week's live, but ready once again for enlightenment, enthusiasm, and good banter in the comments. See, the banter in the comments is part of the allure, we will say, of coming to the Wednesday guitar class as well. It's not just for this ugly mug. The hair's growing. Yeah, it's still growing. David, don't worry about that. The thing is, yeah, like I said, this week, I'll be showing you chords and diagrams of scales to put on top of the chords, what you play over the chords, and that's it, really. So then you can actually implement it, and you can hear it, you can play it, and even if you don't fully understand the theory, you can still execute that. That's good for you. There you go. And Scott says, and $10 to you, Ricky. Love the lessons, and I am now number one. Yes, there is some sort of ranking thing going on there in the live system. Wayne Johnson says, hey up from Cowtown. We've got Patrick's in the chat as well, and we have Vicky DeMayo in the chat. Patrick says, hey up Ricky and Mrs. Ricky and all members. Hope you're all well. A little cooler here today in West Brom. Yes. Just finishing off my Raspberry Magnum. Now, I should explain. A Raspberry Magnum isn't a firearm, guys. A Magnum, I don't know if you have them in the States, a Magnum, but they're a chocolate, a chocolate-covered ice cream, essentially, on a stick. It's a choc ice lolly. Yeah, it's like a choc ice. Yeah, but it sounds nice, that Raspberry Magnum. There we go. DMAC 1971 here for some more. Cheers all. Alm Wentz, greetings fellow fretheads from Arizona. Thunder Ace, my OG in the chat there. Good to see you. Good to see you in the comments. I have seen you all week. I've been working on some stuff, so I haven't had a chance to get to my comments and answer things. Dave SVT, up waiting anxiously. Oh, crikey. Don't be anxious. Don't be anxious. I'll do my best. Rene Hartman, hello from Holland. Phil James, hey up everyone. And now, before we start, what's this PDF club all about, Squire? PDF club is all my PDFs from all my lessons that I've ever done in the past and I'm going to do in the future. That's what it is, essentially. All those resources and anything else I can think of chucking in there that's going to be useful for those lessons. Chimp number one. Hey there, everyone. It's sunny here in Scotland tonight. Bloody hell, it's sunny in Scotland. I should I tweet? I'm just wondering if I should tweet that. It's sunny in Scotland. Yeah. Well, you know, even if it's sunny, it's still not going to stop the midges. They always get me. They eat me to bits up there. Carter Hutchinson is here in the chat as well. Hi everyone, Mrs. Ricky weather. The format. Yeah, there we go. Matt Cochran, hey up Ricky, Frat, Washington State, USA. Annex in the chat. Last class was actually pretty good. Haven't seen any such videos in YouTube before. Thanks for the free stuff, don't worry. You're probably going to enjoy this one today, Anik, because I think you like your shred stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Even I'm going to do this in a jazzy context. Same patterns you can use for shred. So Vicky says pretty damn fantastic. PDF. I like that. Richard Shields back from Paxos and back in the house. How do, fella? How do? Rocket 67. Hey up, I'm ready to smash my brain again today. Carter Hutchinson says weather is hot and humid in Cajun country. Yeah, that's the way you want it, though, I should imagine. Nancy Parsons is in the chat. Micah Allen is in the chat. He says, hello, Ricky. You look even more marvellous every week. Must be the rock star hair. It's getting there. I'm getting tufty bits here. It looks better in a hat, I feel. You know, it's a chore at the moment. Let's put it that way. Chipman says, my button is bashed. Is yours? Good question. Ron Carrillo is in the chat. Major Pentatonic. Malcolm Dengate in Sussex. The Analog Kid. Hey up, got my pen, paper, beer, and guitar in hand and ready to go. Yes, I have 4 hands. Dark Gent. Hey up from Lyon, France. Quick. Check in while on vacation. All right, that's a good call. We appreciate that. Just looking in. Dan Lafferty in Minnesota. Stuart Smith. Hi all. Bill T. Bionic Bill checking in with Ziggy the Cat. Ziggy the Cat. John, hey up all lad. Oh, I've got her now then. I've got a
now then lad.
Yeah, John always gets an hey up now then lad. Joe Harvey, hey up. Joe from Course Gold, California made it today. Tim C. Indiana. Thanks for all the classes. You're welcome. Ford MJ, glad to be here from Ridgecrest, California. High Desert. Rob K is ready for class. Iggy Whiskers. Fresh, exciting. Hands yellow, heart red. That's what it says here. Ryan YT. Bill T. A up from Farmington. Julian Leone. What do you think of the sliding guitar ruler to learn notes? Don't know what I'm not sure what it is that you're on about. I've seen gadgets and things like that. I think you just look. I think there's a saying: the map is not the territory. So the thing is, the best thing I feel is once you've got some, you just need some diagrams. You just need some static diagrams. Oh, you need a pen. You need a blank fretboard, and you need a pencil, and you need to write the notes out. And then while you're writing it out, you need to play them one at a time. Do them one string at a time. Print off 12 sheets of blank fretboards. Yeah, that's a lot. I know that's a lot, but by the time you've got through all 12, you'll know your fretboard. And if you use, and I will say, if you use the methods that I show you in the book and on my channel, which is loads of different ways, because, there's not just one cookie cutter way of learning the notes. It's like, but the more ways you have in it, the better. So, yeah, it might work. It might work, but it might be something that just sits on your shelf. I don't know. I don't know. The sliding guitar rule, I don't know. But the main thing is that you'll learn your notes. That's the main thing. And then your intervals as well. So not just your notes, your intervals. So let's have a look. Victor V in Mexico. We also have John SM here. Is part 2 going to book the trend of sequels and be better than part 1? I hope so. How's it going to end? Cliffhanger to part 3 maybe. Do you know what? I did wonder that. Terry Lauder is here with coffee and a bit more brain space. Good. Good. That's what we want. Elizabeth is in the chat as well in Connecticut, out in Colorado. Vacation does not mean you don't get to show up for class. Let's go like that. Love that attitude. John Prenderville, out from CT USA. I've made 2 live lessons in a row. Well done. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. True. Sean Armour. Sup, kids. Hey, Ricky. He's so cool, this Sean. There you go. Sadie, 376. Hey, hello. Good evening, all. No pre-blurb today. Oh, yeah, we've got pre-blurb. Yes. We've got loads of it. There's always room for more blurb. Tim Kaiser is in the chat. Joe says he still haven't figured out how to use a looper. They can be tricky. Depends. There's different types now. I've got one for this here, but it gives me limits how I can patch that into my computer, which is a non-negotiable. So there you go. Julian Loon, Joe Harvey, same here. Okay, right. Okay, well that's one of the things. Hi foreheads. Don't forget to like this video. Carter says my favorite day of the week. Thank you very much. John Steer in Texas. We have Scott Simmons. The book rocks. Buy it. The best guitar book I have. Thank you. Who else have we got? Who else have we got in here? And I'm counting down here. I'm getting down. Oh, it's gone to 0. It's gone to 0, and I missed it. Colin Mead got his copy yesterday in the post. Get in, Colin. Thank you very much for supporting my work. Martin Bailey. Hi, all from Hertfordshire in England. Gumby Scores is in steaming hot Canada. Binary Surf in Mexico. Al is 77 here and still learning. Good. That's it. That's the one. If you think you know it all, you know nothing. That's the way I think about it. Terry Lauder says the book is the touchstone. I like that. Let's have a look. Create Love Happy's in the chat. Who else have we got? Rob K says, Ricky, will you make a volume 2 of the book? I think what I probably need to do is to focus down on a specific topic. If you want to help guide that topic, then go to the Fretboard Fraternity. We put a post out there today, and what I'd like to do is I'd just like to actually I've asked in there, what you're struggling with and that kind of stuff, and what would be the best thing that you want me to make, really, because I don't want to make something and everyone goes, I don't understand it. that would be really disheartening, to make something and like 5 people go, oh yeah, I like it, But the thing is, if I can make something that works for everybody, then that's going to be better, I feel. So join the Fretboard Fraternity, Colin, or if you're already in there, get in there and let me know. There's a post there. Colin says back for the third time in a row. Hopefully I can survive. Was a bit brain fried after last week. It was a long lesson, to be honest. I think I was done. I was baked by the end of it as well. Shauna TV. Shauna's in the chat in New York. David Bucher. Hey. Minnie Peg. Hello, mate. All right, mate. Dave Alrighty from Hot and Rainy Huddersfield. Hey. Hot and rainy. It is hot and rainy. Yes. But The little bit that I said about my plants earlier on. That's the main thing. Sure. We've got 10 minutes of waffle. Phantom says, another guitar gospel from our cult leader. I'm glad it said cult leader there. Yeah, that's good. Noel Rodriguez, Eyup from Greensboro. Jerry Moffat in Texas. Martin Bailey. We love the likers. Yeah, get that like walloped. Here we are. Angus McDonald. I'm scrolling. Araman 3048. Eyup from Bern. Graham Penfold. Hi Ricky. Now got pentatonic position 1 and 2 under the belt at last. Wonderful. Remember, right, if something's too big, chunk it down. Make it smaller. Focus on just that small thing until you got it correct. That's the way it works. Bill says, harmonic quickie. We have a full bar at what fret 7th and some of the 5th. Any commentary on same? I seem to be able to get it on the 12th now. Bill, come back to that in a bit, mate. Once I get into the meat of the lesson. Kerry is... Hi. Oh, it's not my wife. I don't think that's Kerry. It just says Kerry, so it's like, you know, I thought, oh, what's going on? Where is she? From Ottawa, Canada, but she's not in Canada. G-Man is in the chat. Caroline is in the chat. She's a Jets fan. She'll like Gary V then. ATX Viking, Gordon Lightfoot, 12 string magic. Scuba Trooper. All right, in case I have to multitask. Now, there you go. All right, I got it now. Thomas Ross, good morning from Smithers, BC. Roger Smith, 501 Chorus Echo is Book of Acts YouTube. That's the one. I was trying to remember what it was. Yes, definitely get yourself tuned into some Uncle Larry. Lawrence, so April, everyone. Family Wednesday for me today, so can't fully participate, but I have one ear and one eye dipping in every now and then. Very hungry for part 2. Remember, it's going to be recorded, so it's like it'll be here on the channel waiting for you. Richard Grissom from Jensen Beach, Florida. I'm scrolling to the bottom now. I'm getting through this. Paul B. Hello, Governor. There we go. Tweet it because it won't happen again for another 7 years. There we go. They have midges. Phantom midges. They're like small flies that bite you. They're not like mosquitoes. They're midges. They're you know, you can hear a mosquito coming. Mosquitoes are loud. Midges they gather in like a cloud, and then next thing you know, you're just covered in them, and they bite you. That's what it is. Not midgets. So there you go. Right, where are we? Cyril Johnson in Antrim. Chucks here in the chat as well. We have My Knees Hurt. Hello, folks. What is the lesson today? Bunch of half and whole steps. Everything's half and whole steps there. My Knees Hurt. Wayne's Music World. Let's rock. Anton is in the chat. Martha Minton is in the chat in St. Louis, Missouri. Sandy B's in the chat. Richard Taylor in Plymouth. Looking forward to the lesson. Who else have we got? Sadie says she's off out for a mo. Okay, that's okay. You're excused. Anton says, do I have to do star jumps if I'm late but still make the roll call? If you make the roll call, you're all right. If you just sneak in and sit at the back, you know, and kind of like just get up in your desk quietly and get your stuff out, you know, slowly. Yeah, don't disturb the rest of the class, then you'll be all right. So, Robbie 1, you are Robbie. Shanang Fawaka, Eyup, make me a guitar. Hey now. Kwame Lee, hello everyone. Yes, there you go. Give me a salute there. James Ark, hey, in the chat. We've got Suraj Kumar Biswal, Pranam Guruji. I hope I've said that right. I hope I haven't said anything untoward there. But Randy Smith, we are here. Let's have a look. Midges equal. I don't know what that is. We're almost there. Parker Fly, Rook, Eyup. We're at the bottom. We're ready to commence the lesson. So, right. So what I think would probably be a useful thing to do is to just briefly talk about and take this one off the top of this here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that there. But what I think would be useful to do is to go over why just talk about these minors again, yeah, just so we know where we're coming from. And the reason is, let's switch to this one here. Now, this is last week's. These are the notes from last week where we basically, right, what I said was we can get a 2-5-1. We can get a 2-5-1 in a major key, right? Let me just show you what that might look like in, say, the key of, let's look at that in C major, right? So let me just quickly do this. So you can, so when you see something that says, that piece of paper's not fit for presentation, but we'll go with it, right? So what we can do is we can look at this idea of what is a 2-5-1, okay? And it basically relates to the chords in the key. So there's a few different 2-5-1s that we can have. We can have the first one, and I'll play this for you so you can hear what it sounds like. If we have a major key, right, what we've got is we've got a major key, and we look at the chords in the key. So say we had the key of C major, which is our friend. The notes in C major are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Now, as you can see, there are 7 letters there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just basically just told you what I could say there. I could call that 1. That could be 2. That could be 3. That's 4. That's 5. That's 6. And that is 7. This is a super simple way of seeing the key. But what we get is that we get a mix of major and minor chords. And what I do is I use my Roman numerals to tell me whether they are major or minor. So this is a little recap. If it's uppercase for a Roman numeral, it means it's a major tonality. If it's lowercase, it means it's minor tonality. So you can see here, this is a number 1 in uppercase, and this is a number 1 in lowercase. The lowercase has the dot on it. So let's take this major here, and we're just going to do the Roman numerals. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we get 7 here. So here you can see that I have a mixture of these Roman numerals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these Roman numerals to help me to finish naming these chords here from the major scale, because that's what this is. This is the scale. This is where we get, hopefully this will click for some of you guys, yeah? This is where we get the ingredients for the chords. So if we take these and then we make them into triads, then we get chords essentially. So this says it's uppercase, which means it's C major. No need to write major because major is important enough as it is. But here you can see that this has got lowercase Roman numeral 2. So this means it's D minor. Here we get E minor. Yeah, and then what we get is we get an F there. You can see that's major because it's uppercase. This is uppercase, we get a G. What we also get here is we get a 6 chord. Oh, hang on, that's got a Roman numeral there with a lowercase. So let's put an M on that for minor. This has got the lowercase, which means something is minor, but not quite. What happens here is this little symbol here, this circle, means that it is a diminished chord. Diminished chords have a minor third, which is why I think of them as having lowercase spelling, which is why, makes sense really, because the spelling is all about the major or minor, and that's all about the third in the chord, yes, in the triad. So what you can see hopefully is we get 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and if you've seen this before, then every time I do this, guys, it's reinforcing. Now what we do is we're basically looking at that. That's a recipe for a chord progression. That's exactly what that is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this chord progression here, and we're going to go 2, which is D minor. We're going to take 5 there, which is G, and then we're going to take 1, which is C, and that's our chord progression. So if I just put that in some bars here and put that there, and do you know what? I'll just repeat that there again, and then we can see that we get a 4-bar progression there, guys. So we get D minor, G, C, C. Right, okay, that's great. But what I want to do is I want to extend these. What I can do with all of these chords is, at the minute, these are triads, okay? So these are triads. And because they're triads, they've only got 3 notes. What I want to do, really, with this for today's lesson is I want to extend this by another note and have a tetrad, yes? triad is 3-note, tetrad is a 4-note chord. Okay, so essentially we want to build some tetrads. And if funny, and I put that word there. It's a lovely. I love that word. You know, if you've had those, tetra means 4. So tetrad. So tetrads apply to any 4-note chord that you can think of, and it doesn't have to be diatonic, guys. So this is your word of the week if you want. If you want to think of that as your word of the week is tetrad. Yeah, so it just basically means a 4-note chord. So 7th chords, that's what we're going for with this. So what I can do is I can extend all these triads here, and I can make them fancy and more expensive by adding a 7th. When I do it to the D minor, what happens is I get a D minor 7. When I do it to the G, I get a G7. And when I add it to the C, I get a G major 7. So that's what I'm going to get there, guys. So hopefully you can see that this is a lovely major 2-5-1. I could write it 2-5-1 like that. I could equally write it like that. Yeah, I could write it like that. I could even add some extra gubbins on to show the tonality as well. -7, the 5-1 there. Right, so here we go. Let me just play this and show you what it sounds like. So let's see if I have my everything's all my ducks in a row here. I'm just going to switch to this one here. Oh, look at that. So there we go. Look at love it to bits. So essentially what I can do with this, I'm going to play this with some, I'll play those basic chords that I had at first actually. So I had D minor, G7 to a C major. Now tell me you have heard that a million times. You must have. Yeah, so D minor, G7, the twee version, and then to C. So that's just as triads. But what I want to do is I want to make these chords sound more expensive. So I play my D minor 7 like this. Can you hear the extra colour I get in this? And I prefer to play my G7 like this. And then I'm going to play my C major 7 like this. I could equally take my first finger off there, and you can hear. Now it becomes just a little bit more moody. Right, and that gives me that sound there. Now that's just one position that I can put that, but I can also do it up here. Look, here's a D minor. Okay, here's a G, and here's a C. Okay, turn those into 7ths. I get a D minor 7 here. I can play a G7 like this, and I could play the C major 7 like this here. Okay, but you can hear from the sound of this, these guys, they're all quite lovey-dovey, aren't they? Do you think this, the sound of that, it's like, it's kind of like walking in a park with your sweater, you know, with the sleeves knotted. Like that, with a posh coffee in your hand, with the lady. And then, you know, and it's that last chord really, because you can hear that the tension that we're creating there. And remember me talking about this the other week with dominants and tonics and subdominants. You can hear that this is a subdominant going to a dominant going to a tonic. Because the thing is, we're going somewhere. We're creating tension, and then we're releasing it. So listen to this. The release on that is wonderful. Okay, so you can hear, but it's not dark enough. It's not moody enough. You know, what happens? That's during the daytime. You're there, sun shining. You know, you're feeding the squirrels. You're feeding the squirrels. They're friendly. They want to come up to you. And you go like that, and you know you're with your lady, and it's lovely, yeah. But like, what happens is, like, you know, then she leaves you. You need a darker version of this. We need something a bit more moody. Right, so let me just go back to my Lady Dianagram. Let's go over here, back to this one here. Right, so we're back on this. So that's, we look at that as being the major key, okay, guys? So, now what I can do is I can actually turn this same one here, even though the example I'm going to do is actually going to be in C minor as well. I can take these chords, I can redistribute them. What happens is, we take this is the relative minor, and this becomes the first chord, okay? So the relative minor, what happens is, the chords are in a Q, and C major is the most important one in the Q. That's it, right at the front of the Q. These are all waiting behind. Everything wants to go, that's the resolving sound. Well, what we can do in the minor key is we can start on that A minor, and I want you to look at the names of these chords that I'm writing out here, guys. So here, why is the G major? Paul B says, good question. Hang on, let's put it up on the thing. Vicky says, so the seventh chords kill the squirrels for eating the tomatoes in the garden. Yes, probably something like that. So hang on, let me just move that there. Why is the G major not become G major 7? It's because of the distance between the root note and the well, it's what kind of seventh that we have in that G chord. In the G chord, we get a flat 7. In the C chord and the F chord, we get a major 7. Yes, but in the G chord, we get a flattened 7, a minor 7. So really, what happens is, it creates tension. That's what we want. That's what we want. We want that tension, which is actually, this is a good question because it's going to lead us into this 5 chord and how the 5 chord is so important. When we did cadences the other week, then that kind of explained all that stuff. So if we take these chords, you can see I get the A minor, I put the B diminished there. I'm going to put the C here at chord 3, D minor, E minor, just there, and then F and G, and you can see I get the same chords, but now I'm in the relative minor, which is, you know, we're just going to call this the minor key, okay? So we take this minor key, and I'll write the Roman numerals for this, so we get a 1 there. Yes, but the C major does, yes. So we get this 1 here, chord 2 is the B diminished, so it's still got the same sound, it's still got that diminished quality here. This is chord 3, right? I like to keep the scale formula intact in there by putting that flat 3 in there. This is chord 4. This is chord 5. This is chord 6 or flat 6. And then we get chord flat 7 as well. So you can see here we get chords 1, 4, and 5, which is where we get our cadences. Okay, 1, 4, and 5. These guys are the most important chords in the minor key. Okay, so, and what you can see is the letter names here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are our scale notes. So we've not got any new scale notes. They're just in a different lineup. So now we've got that there, and we've got Wobbly Bob there. We don't want Wobbly Bob just behind you like that. So here we go. So here's the thing. If we did a 2, 5, 1 in the minor key, then what we're going to do is we're going to get this, okay? So we can see a 2 is going to be the B diminished. Then the 5 is going to be this E minor. And then the 1 is going to be the A minor. But there's a problem with it, and I want you to hear it. So what I'll do is I'll play this, but like I did before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these into 7th chords, into the tetrads, okay? Into these tetrads. So this is going to be, when I do this, I'm going to turn it into a half diminished chord. That means I put a little line through there to show that that's half diminished. That means it's a diminished triad with a minor 7. It's only half diminished. On this chord, I would get an E minor 7, and I get an A minor 7 and an A minor 7 there. So let me just play this for you. Okay? Let me just play this for you. Is this going to be... Let's put that there. So this is where we are, guys. right? So we've got the B diminished here. So this is the B diminished, but half diminished, sorry. So already we've started on a moody chord, okay? We could play the E minor 7 down here, and then to A minor 7. The thing is that E minor 7 to me it didn't sound great at all. Let me just put it further up the neck. I'm going to put the B half diminished here. This is a minor 7. Look, there's the minor 7. And I just put my flat 5 there with my index finger. Okay. We've got that B half diminished there. Then what we need is an E minor 7. And then to an A minor 7. Okay, now the thing is that E minor 7 is weak. It's a weak sound. It doesn't give us a strong cadence. Listen, E minor 7. Yes. It's a bit wishy-washy when we come, especially when we come from this here. So really, what we need to do is we need to beef that up. But to do that, what we need to do is we need to borrow chords from a parallel harmonic minor key to get this. Okay, so let's have a little look. I'll probably do that. I'll get another piece of paper. Let me switch to overhead here. So, and my niece says it's easier for my brain to just keep the key major and play the chords based of the major scale chords 2, 3, 6 if you want minor. Yeah, there's a point though where you need to just switch over your thinking a little bit, especially when it comes to this. Okay, so what we're gonna need with this is, right, if I look at this, not that one, I forgot another sheet here. Let's have a look. Let's use this piece of paper here. So what I'm going to do is I want that 5 chord, like I say, I want that 5 chord, I want to beef it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow from the harmonic minor instead. So before we had major key, this is a minor key. Remember, like I said, you could think of it as the relative minor. Okay, we can think of it as a relative or the harmonic or the natural, because it falls naturally because of that there. Okay, we've got that one there, right? Okay, so going back to how this all works here, guys. If we remember, somebody said something there about the scale formula. Let's have a look, because that was interesting, because that was something that is pertinent to this. I'm just scrolling through the comments here, looking at the squirrels. What Kwame says, what are the intervals for the A minor scale? Okay, so that's the question. So the intervals for the A minor scale. So let's just look at that again. A natural minor. Okay, we just think of it as minor. We get a root, we get a second, we get a flat third, we get a fourth, we get a fifth, we get a flat sixth, and we get, this is the critical one here, a flat 7. Okay, so that's the one, right? So those are the intervals, and that's why when I write out my Roman numeral diagrams, I keep the flats from the scale formula in the Roman numerals. You'll see that those guys tally across there. In fact, I'll just put them in there. 1, 2. I could leave it like that, 3, but I'm going to lose some information. I'll put the flat in. I'll just borrow that flat from the formula. 4, 5. There's the 6, Roman numeral 6, but pull that flat in there. Here is the 7 in Roman numeral. Pull that flat in there. Okay, so that gives us it all there. But if I want to go a harmonic minor, the formula for that, see how this works. It goes root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat sixth, 7. That's the difference there, guys. So we end up with this Oh, remember that's diminished there, okay? So we end up with that there. Right, chord 2 here, we're going to end up with diminished again. Chord 3, here's where it starts to get different, becomes different. If you alter one note, it's going to affect the chords and that you get. So we need to be able to account for that. So we get this 3 chord like that, but it's not an ordinary 3 chord. Because what we do as well is when we write, I tend to think about this. When I write diminished, I always write the word diminished lowercase to denote that it's got a minor third. If I write augmented, I usually write it uppercase like I would do a major. And I do the same thing with the Roman numerals. So first here, it looks like it's a major triad, okay? But it isn't. It's augmented. It has a sharp 5, okay? But I still want to carry that flat 3 over there, right? So here we get a 4 chord. But this is where it gets good. Yeah, that extra change in that note, that distance, because we've just got one note that's different there. It means that chord 5, we end up with a major triad. Yeah, so the chord goes from minor, which is a weak sound, to a major, which is a strong sound, okay? So that's the good stuff that we're actually after there, okay? Now when we get to chord 6, something else happens here. We also get a major tonality on this one here. I'm going to carry this flat 6 across there to show you that that's what's going on there. And then what happens is we also get this now. Now this is where the good stuff happens. This becomes the true diminished. Okay. Now if I kind of think it's a little bit easier to see the difference in these. I'm just going to do this. I didn't know I was going to do this. This is a tangent, guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just doing some little diagrams here, just so that you can see how you might equate this as a little box pattern on your neck. So this is the neck. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm going to do it starting on the E string. So if I do it here, root, yes, 2nd flat 3rd, right, 4th 5th. And then we get the flat 6. You can see where that flat 6 lives here. Then we get the flat 7. And then we get the root again. So you can see there, that's the complete natural minor. Hang on, if I can write properly. Natural minor. Okay? That's what it looks like with that flat 7. And you need to see this. This is part of the visual thing that is about guitar and shapes and all that stuff. Now, like I said, the difference between this is root 2nd is the same, flat 3rd, 4th 5th, flat 6th, same, 4th 5th, flat 6. But what we get is this 7. Okay, we get a leading note. This goes T do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But it does it in the minor. Yes, I can't sing harmonic minor. But this is the pattern. I'm going to put that 7 just here. You can see that that's the minor 7. And the major 7 would be 1 fret higher, because majors and minors travel around in pairs. And that's where we get the pattern there. Now, you could place this on any position. Yeah, I'm not putting this at the 1st fret. This is just your starting point here, guys. And then when you play this, you'll hear how exotic this sounds. Yeah, just by adding that 7th. That 7th will add a lot of tension to the sound that you want. But the critical thing is this here, because this is the diminished. Right? Now, I'm going to go there. I will go there, right? So what happens is if we look at let's have a look at where we're going with this. Let's do the B diminished, okay? So let's look at the B half diminished. I just want to show you the structure, because it's going to become important. What we get is we've got a root, okay? We get a root, we get a flat 3rd, and we get a flat fifth. Now the thing is, what we want to do, yeah, is we want to look at the intervals in between these. If we look at the distance between a root and a flat third, we get a flat third. If we look at the distance between a flat third and a flat fifth, we get a flat third. And when we look at the distance between a flat third and the seventh, what happens is we get a major third. Okay, this is what happens. This is why it's only half diminished. Yes, this is half diminished. It's not fully diminished. Whereas if we take a B diminished chord, we get root, get a flat third, get a flat fifth, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this flat 7 and I've got to diminish that, and I do that by double diminishing it. Right, now actually it sounds the 6th, but what ends up happening is we get a minor third there, get a minor third there, and we get a minor third there. Now, where was I with this? So if we look at this, we can look at it on this diagram from last week. I was talking about this last week. When we look at, say, like this B half diminished here, you can see between the B and the D, it's a minor third. Between the D and the F, it's a minor third. But between the F, which is the 5th, the flat 5, and this A here, which is the flat 7, we get this major third going on here. This is where the circle of thirds comes in yet again. But then if we look at chord 7, yeah, here you can see it's got the proper diminished symbol there. And if you look, look at G sharp to B. What happens is we get a flat third. B to D, we get a flat third. But importantly, when we go from the D to the F here, that's the root. That would be the flat third, flat fifth. This is that diminished 7th, guys. So we get, this is the full diminished because it's got minor thirds in those, in between those notes there, in between those to form the tetrad. So hopefully that's the difference. It's very, very subtle. Blink and you'll miss it. Look at that. It's got a line through it. That hasn't. That's proper diminished. But B diminished, half diminished, is also known as minor 7 flat 5. Okay, and we're going to use that sound today. Okay, we're going to use that sound. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the comments and I'm going to make sure that everybody is up to speed. So Phil's off to Lake Como. Let's go. So let's have a look. So it's easy for I have to catch a replay. Okay. David Doherty says, how would you number the minor key using Nashville numbers? Well, you probably, I don't really use the Nashville numbers. If I'm honest, I'm aware of the Nashville number system, and I think if it's like, it's kind of, I think it as far as I understand, it's quite all encompassing. It's like if you're using a 2, you would say the tonality, so you'd say 2 minor, or 2 diminished, or 2 half diminished, or whatever. But in Nashville tuning, I understand that the 7 chord is treated differently as well. Yeah, it's treated as a 5 chord. So that's a whole different thing, way of understanding it, really. But probably would be worth having a look into it and seeing if I could cobble a lesson together on it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, see how it's there. So how does the 7 turn into diminished from major? Why isn't it G sharp major? Because we have no relative major with the diminished or the melodic minor. They are their own home tonalities. We think of them in that way. I mean, you can kind of think of them because when you start naming the modes, then I always do we go down that rabbit hole? No, the thing is, it's just, and it's best to just think that the diatonic harmony isn't the only way of doing harmony. If you think about it, it's the most common way because it's the Western way. So major and minor is just is the basic that everybody should really understand, because then what it does is it helps you to understand more irregular concepts, you know, like harmonic minor basically came about because about harmonic, more harmonic options that it can create. But the beautiful thing is that you can blend it, and they're interchangeable. They're interchangeable because there are these links, these pivot chords. Yes, you have chords within the natural minor, you know, that you could use, and that's kind of what we're going to do today as well, I think, with the 2 chord, if you think about it that way. So when you're looking at a chord, you can sometimes think to yourself, yeah, is this in the major key? This is in the major key. Then if it's in the major key, you're pretty stuck in the major key. You maybe borrow from, you know, modulate and change to a minor slightly. You then come back into the major key. But if you're in the natural minor, there's more chance that you're going to wander out into harmonic minor. Maybe less so melodic minor. You know, melodic minor in the way that I personally use it and think about it is in more of a jazz harmony sense. But we're looking at harmonic minor today. So really that's the way we want to look at it. But the thing to know is that in the 3 minors that we have, the natural minor, there is no true diminished 7th chord. There is no true diminished tetrad. In the melodic minor, there is no true diminished tetrad either. Yeah, it's those keys, they have half diminished tetrads. Yeah, so 4-note chords. And that's the way. So as soon as you see that diminished, as soon as you see a proper full diminished, yes, we have full diminished, yeah, like this, you know that you're in the mire of the harmonic minor. And I call it the mire, but the thing is, it's beautiful. But the thing is, the thing that this does is it ends up creating beautiful patterns, symmetrical patterns that guitarists love to bits. Yes, Yngwie Malmsteen uses this idea, but so do all your jazzers. Yes, and this is why. And I think that's kind of like, you know, when you blend that stuff together, then then what happens is, you know, that's maybe where you get fusion from, jazz fusion. So I really think about it in that kind of context. But basically, it's about tension and release. Yeah. So these flat thirds are going to come in handy. And I could explain that, actually. Should I explain that? Yeah, I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain something, because I know some of you guys have wanted this for a while, but I'm here, so let's do it. It's a tangent. Right, so here at the minute, what I've got here is I've got a B minor 7 flat 5, which is a half diminished chord. Yeah, so the thing is, here's the root. I've got this flat 5 here. Forms this tritone. Yes. Now here is my major 7 from the root. You can see that's where that is there. And there's the minor triad, the minor 7 chord here. Look, that's B minor 7. Put that flat 5 in. Then I get a B minor 7 flat 5, which is that half diminished. If I can spot where the flat 7 is, then it means that I know where to diminish it. So I can take that there, and I end up with this shape here. Okay, let me just zoom in on this one. So that's the shape. Now, if you look at your fingers, if you're thinking about how does it look in your fingers, that looks like there's a D minor chord. If we move it over, yeah, there, and then put the pinky on the B string there. So that's 2 on the A string, 3 on the D string, 1 on the G string, and then we've got the pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string there. We get this shape. Now the thing is, I've said this before. I said this in a short on the channel that this was that I think sometimes I think of diminished 7th chords as being quantum, right? Is because quantum is like the same thing existing in 2 different places. It's simultaneously. We can think of that B and we definitely would think of that B as being our root note if it was a minor 7 flat 5, yes? But with this, what happens is, because of the way that these notes all stack up, we've got all those notes from that diminished triad, and all of these notes are the root note. All of these notes are the flat third. All of these notes are the flat 5, and all of these notes are the flat 7. Okay, so watch, we got this. Now, how this works is, look, I've got a B here, I've got an F here, I've got a G sharp here, and I've got a D here. If I take this whole chord up, yes, I move it up a minor third, because this is what that significance of that these gaps here. This is the significance of those gaps there, guys. If I take that up here, if I look up a minor third and move that shape up there, yes, I end up with the same 4 notes. These aren't different notes. Yeah, it becomes an inversion. So we end up with the D, we've got the G sharp, we've got the B, and we also have this F here as well. So those notes, the same notes, move up a minor third. You can see what I get is I get an F, I've got a D, I've got a B, and I've got my G sharp just here as well. So the same notes, so the root, the flat third, the flat 5, and the diminished 7th can be any of those intervals. Yes, they can. All of them are available as the root. Now look, what happens is I move it up a minor third again, which is here. I've not changed the shape. The grip is exactly the same. Now here I've got a G sharp, here I've got a D, here I've got an F, and here I've got the B. Same notes again, and then if I move it up a minor third, I'm back in the same, back on the same notes that I had down here, but an octave higher. And what you'll see is you get this. So you got, you can think of that as B diminished, D diminished, F diminished, G sharp diminished. They are all the same chord. They are the same chord because of those flat 3s that live between them. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Patrick, don't worry too much with this. Yeah, I will be showing you the shapes and the scale patterns. But I just thought I'd dive into this just so that you can see how this works. And it is quite a tense sound. For me, it always sounds like those Buster Keaton movies, you know, where the lady's on the railway line. Yeah, so the fact that does that, and you can hear that tension, is a wonderful thing. Okay, now I just want to dig into this because this is really pertinent to this. Because this moves up in minor thirds, and it is essentially the same chord. So that and that there are the same chord. What happens is if I move this up here, yeah, now I have different notes. But the same thing is going to apply. Each of these notes that I'm holding down can be the root, the flat third, the flat 5, or the diminished 7th. So we've got this, that there. Now if I move it up here, a minor third, it's exactly the same notes but in a different order. It's inverted itself. There we go. We've got 4 places I can put that chord, and then if I want to, what I can do is put it up there, and then that means I've got back to that original version that I had here. So that is the second family. If we think of this as being the first family of the diminished chord, there. If I move here, these notes are different. That's the second family. And now if I move here to this here, this becomes the third family. Oh, there we go. So you can see I end up with 3 diminished families. And that's the first family, second family, third family. Now, hang on, let me do it from that B. First family, second family, third family. Now when I move up here, because that is the inversion, I'm back in the first family again. Okay? Second family, third family. Back in the first family, second family, third family, first family, second family, third family, first family. So there's only 3 families of these diminished. And this is the beautiful thing. Now, if you think about it, let me switch to this. Oh, I'm already on it. If you think about it, 3 lots of 4. Yeah, 3 times 4 is 12. Yeah, and we have 12 keys. Yeah, so there's 12 ways of thinking of the keys, so we can have 12 keys. So those are double flat diminished chords. They're not double flat, they're just diminished chords. Yeah, the flat 7 is flattened. Yeah, that's what's going on there. Yeah. So don't worry about that, but you will get there. You will get there, Patrick. This is the thing. So somebody says, Frank, are there 3 half steps in a flat third? Yes. And 4 in a major? Yes. Yeah. So the thing is, it's all about how these notes stack on top of each other. But I thought I just wanted to get into this idea that introduce this idea that diminished 7th chords, they have a way of behaving, and it's different from all your other chords. It's completely different from all your other chords. They work in a completely isolated way, but they're only going to happen. They're only going to happen on here. Yes. Okay. So you need to think about this stuff, right? What you're going to do is you're going to think about it, keep thinking about it, and then get confused by it, and then think to yourself, all right, I might have it, I might understand it, and then you'll have a eureka moment when you're in the supermarket and you're trying to weigh up, whether it's better to get the white bread or the brown bread, and you go, oh, hang on, no, I understand diminished chords now. So chords you're using are tetrads. Tetrads are basically 4-note chords. Keystone Cops, Paul says, yes. So hopefully that's going to make sense when it comes to some of the patterns I'm going to show you guys. This comes into patterns, okay? Okay. Oh, Randy, send our regards to your missus, and send her our love as well, please, Randy. Appreciate that. So we're gonna have a sup of this. Rocket says something interesting there with augmented chords. Augmented chords work in their own way as well. So that's what we kind of have to deal with. This is the introduction. There's no escaping it. If we're digging into the harmonic minor, then this is what's going to happen. Right. Okay. But now we have those chords. Let's look at this. We've got that there. So hopefully I needed to get into that bit there, yeah? But what we want to do now is we want to look at A harmonic minor. I'm just going to extend these triads. I'm going to extend these triads into tetrads, or 7th chords, if you want to think of them as 7th chords. And if you saw the sheet I had last week, I wrote them down here, okay? So we can extend those. So we can have the Roman numerals as triads there. But if we extend them, what we end up with is these explanations here. So for a 2-5-1 in harmonic minor, let's have a look at it. So if we think about it, if this was an A, this would be a B half diminished. We'd get a B minor 7 right there. The 5 chord, well, this would be a 7th chord. That would be a 7th chord. So now what ends up happening is, and actually if I put the letters underneath it, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then that's going to be G sharp there. Okay, so you can see the B is going to be the diminished there, half diminished, sorry. And then what happens is we get the 2. Let's look at the 5. We get an E7. We get an E7, guys, and this is the thing. This is why we do this. And then when we go back to this A here, what happens is we get an A minor, but when we extend, because of that, the way that that seventh works out, we end up with a major 7. So we end up with A minor major 7. So we'd end up with that there twice. If that's the same chord progression I used before. So this would sound thusly. Let's have a look. Let's just switch over to the main camera. So on this one, and zoom in a wee bit. Okay, what we'd end up with is B minor 7. Yeah. A minor, E7. Can you hear that? Now the reason a lot of this works is because of leading notes and that sort of stuff. And then A minor major 7. Now here's an A minor. I've got to flatten my root here to get that major 7, and this is what it looks like. It looks like this shape here. Now that is classic sort of James Bond sound, yeah. This chord, coincidentally, don't think to yourself, oh, that's harmonic minor, because this also is the same in melodic minor as well. So now you can hear that we've got this tension in here. But that home chord, remember about tonic, we want tonic resolution. We want it to sound finished. So what we do is we just go minor 7, and that would mean that what we're doing really, guys, what we're doing really is we're just, for that one there, really, we're just going back to the natural minor. We're thinking about that there. So thinking natural minor, this is definitely harmonic. And this one can be both natural and harmonic. Right? So now what we have now is some choices of ways of playing this stuff. Okay? We know what scales are going to fit on top of these chords. So there's a B diminished. Switch over to camera again. There we go. Where am I going to play it? I'll try it up here as well. B minor 7 flat 5 to an A minor, to an E7 there, to an A minor major 7. Well, that would be that, yeah. But we don't want that. We want to iron that major 7 out and make it into a flat 7, because we're thinking to ourselves, we're back in the natural minor here. We would play it like this. So you hear now we've got lots of tension there, release there, and that is the structure of the 2-5-1 that we get now with the harmonic minor. Bringing that harmonic minor in here. Now you've probably heard the harmonic minor in songs when they go like this, yeah. Yeah. The one I can think of is Oasis. The Importance of Being Idle. Yeah. I think it's also the same in House of the Rising Sun. Yeah. So it gets drawn in there. So you get more of a cadence effect here. Okay. It's a bit stronger than going from this E major to the minor with the major 7 in there. Okay. So we got that there. So, and that, you know, I think, Carolyn, that doesn't. There's nothing more mainstream pop rock than Oasis. Yeah, it's used in lots of songs. It's Mizzaloo. It's in lots of Shadows stuff. All that good stuff. It's in all that. And you can when you hear it, the importance of Billy Idol, the importance of being idle. So yeah, back to the sheet here. So what we've got, just to kind of recap on this, we've got the major key, We can get a 2-5-1 out of that, which is D minor, G7, C major 7. We can go the relative minor key. We get the B diminished. We get an E minor 7 and this A minor 7. But the E minor 7 is weak. Yeah, so we don't want that. So what we need to do is we need to beef that up. And what we do is we dip into the parallel natural, dip into the, say that again, Ricky, spit your teeth out. We dip into the harmonic minor, the parallel harmonic minor, and we use the E minor 7. We turn that into just an E7 there, and that all works out because of that alteration on that 7th. That's all. That's how it works. I think it's absolutely amazing how music all kind of tallies up like that. And now, right, now that's all good and well. That's all good and well, but what you want to know, what you really want to know is how can we play something with this? So this is the classic. It's just a cool sounding 2-5-1. And what I'm going to do, I've got these chord diagrams up here. I'm going to show you these chord diagrams and I'm going to talk through them. Let's go here, overhead only. Right, okay, so here's a sheet. Like I say, this is going to be a PDF club as well. So this is the D minor 7 flat 5. I've put this here. I should put this here. It's at the 5th position there. Right, and I'll put the fingers that I would use underneath there. And I know some people might bar across there. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I find that that's going to probably restrict you a bit. But hang on, let's do mix of both, and then you can see how I'm doing this. So, can we get it all in there? We might not. Okay, but there we go. So that's the one we're after there. So you could bar it across there. I'm not a fan of that because you might want to go into your diminished. There's a half diminished. There's your diminished. And you might want to do some voice leading or something, and change this around. You start to see where these chords all come into each other. So here's the first chord that I want you to do, guys. If you've got your guitar there, yes, type in the chat if you've got your guitar and you're ready to do these chords. Can you a little bit bigger? I don't know if I can actually because the way this split screen thing is working. Let's have a look. Cause I might ruin everything. Let's have a look. Can I? Maybe. Let's have a look. Digital zoom. Oh, can I? I'm clever, aren't I? I've got hold of this technology. Right, so there's the shape. Right, so that's the shape that we've got there, guys. Right, oh, look at that. That's cool. So you can see here, we've got the root under that note there. We've got the flat 7 there, and that's what I'm doing. So just holding those two there like that, and then the 3rd finger over there. What shape does that look like? Yeah, it shouldn't feel any different than playing a D chord. Yeah, so you're playing like a D chord and then you put your pinky on there. Okay? So, let's put that on there. Now, what we could do is we can put this on your looper or you could use the backing track, like I say, that I got in PDF Club. And this goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I've done at the top here. I've got the D minor 7. So what I'm thinking of this is it's a 4-bar little progression that we're doing here. So I've just got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully that makes sense. Boom. There we go. We've got D minor 7 flat 5. Half diminished. Paul's not ready. Okay. So look. So thinking about that. That's the one that we're doing there. Now. Here is where it gets fruity. We can, you might notice when I move over to this G7 here, I've put something extra in here. I've got a sharp 5 in here. And this is all the beauty of this dominant chord. I can play it like this as a dominant chord. And if I want to keep it within the remit of being borrowed from the relative minor, or borrowing it from a major, I could play it as a 13. But what I want is I want this fruity number here. Okay, Patrick, just play the chords, mate. Just play the patterns. This is at the 3rd fret. Yeah, this is what we do, right? We just go, we're playing that chord. We've got chord diagrams. This is what I'm saying. It's like you don't need to worry about the theory. Yeah, I just had to put it in there for those who want it. Okay, so we've got this one here, this D minor 7 flat 5. Think about it. It's just a fancy D minor chord. That's all it is. Yeah. Then we're going to go to this fancy G chord that we've put this flat 7 on to give it more colour. Yeah, it's a bluesy sounding chord ordinarily. And then what we do is we put that pinky on there. Can you hear how that note, that sharp 5, yeah, that changes everything. Now I've borrowed this sharp 5 here. This note here belongs to something. This belongs to the 7 chord, the scale associated with the 7 chord. Yeah, which is that G sharp diminished that we had before. Oh, this isn't G sharp diminished though. So that diminished chord 7. So we take that there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to jump to the resolving chord, which is this C minor 7. Right, C minor 7. That's okay, that's there. And I'm going to play this as a shell chord. I've got a root, and I've got this at the 3rd fret. Okay, so I've got that there. So putting that together, D minor 7, flat 5 to G7. And that's all you need to do. Okay, that's all you need to do. You don't need to overthink it. Right, you just look at the diagrams and then you play the shapes. Now the thing, like I say, is you can count with these and you could do down strums on each of them. Keep it simple. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these double dots here mean you repeat it. Okay, so we're gonna go 1. Let's do this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on, I'll switch. I can't switch between both, can I? I'll just play the chords so you can hear the sound. D minor 7 flat 5. G7 sharp 5. C minor 7. Another bar of C minor 7. And that's the whole of the progression, guys. There's not much to it. Let me just switch to here, so I'll show you those, what they look like. Would it be easier, would it be better if I had my strumming hand in? I know some people do prefer the strumming hand in there as well. Let me put that in. You can see all I'm doing is just going strum, 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 strum. Strum, 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 strum. Now the beautiful thing about this shape is, if I take my pinky off, I can hold the same shape and just move it down one string. 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. Okay? How do I not play string 5? It's all about how I'm muting. When I play in the G7, I'm using letting the pad of my index finger mute that string out, so you can hear. Yeah, just by rolling that over. Yeah, it's very forgiving. Is that shape? If I show you my fingers, you can see the angle a little bit better there. So, and I'm not playing the thin E string either. I'm letting my pinky mute that string out as well. So. And then when I switch down here, playing the C minor 7 here, my index finger is just fouling. I wonder if I can zoom in just a little bit more on that. It's just touching it. It's just, can you see how it's just touching the string to mute the E string out? So this, the funny thing is this here, this one here, this is finger is muting. It's doing three things with this string. Yes, it's muting out the D string, it's muting out the E string, but it's fretting that third fret on the A string as well. Casey, happy birthday. I'll say you happy birthday, but I don't know if this is your first time on the channel, but I think what did Kevin say? What did Kevin say there? Index finger over. Index finger is over. Kind of. Now I've seen people play these chords like this as well. Look. You can mute things. I've seen people do that, so they got other fingers free. You can do different things like that. So that's a good way of doing this. Now, Annex asking the question, what scale is this? Haha. Right, we're getting to the meat and bones of it. And this is the thing. When we play this, what we can do is, because of this being my 1 chord, yeah, it's a minor 7 chord. And because it's a minor 7 chord, what I can do is I can use a minor pentatonic on this. So I'm thinking box 4, if you want to think of box 4, putting it there. But really what I'm thinking is I'm seeing the flat third, the 2 and the 3 patterns. There's the 3 pattern. In the 3 and 2 pentatonics that we've done before. Okay. Okay, but David, don't worry about the theory. Just play the shapes. Yes, I've got to include the theory, mate. I have to include the theory, because the questions are going to be asked, and that's the thing. I've got to be comprehensive with it and make sure that everybody gets it. But this bit that I'm doing right now is for you. This bit here is for you and Patrick. Playing the chords is straightforward. Yeah, don't think about the theory too much, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to relate this to this. The people who want to understand the theory, that theory section was for them. Okay, but this here, what you need to do is you need to focus on what's going on here. So here, because of the way that this, if I'm thinking of this as my 1 chord, yeah, that's basically my key. I'm going to play a minor on this. Let me just zoom out a wee bit. Now the easiest way to kind of look at this would be to think, all right, that's a C minor 7, play a C pentatonic on it. Yeah, C minor pentatonic. Okay, look. I moved up to the 8th fret here, where the C root note is, and I just played that pattern. Now what I can do is I can add the other patterns. That live around that as well. But that's not the whole thing, really. So the C chord fits the C harmonic scale. It will fit the C harmonic scale, but it will also fit your minor pentatonic. Yeah? So you can hear that there. Yeah, so you hear it there. But it will also do your minor blues. Okay? Let's put a minor blues scale on it as well. Let's zoom in a bit on this. The shapes are one thing, but it's like, you know, it's kind of like saying, you know, we found the boson Higgs, but okay, well, how did you find it? I don't, you know, you need to know. So, yeah, so what I can do, I can take that and I can put my blues on it as well. So look, so take that scale, and I can even play it up here in that original position. that works on that as well. So the thing to think to yourself is, right, I can play that. Now, because this is chord 2, that blues and that minor pentatonic works on it as well. But the G7, that does it, but we're missing out on something. And what we're missing out on is bringing in, because this chord is the telltale. This chord is the one that that wants to use the harmonic minor. And if you remember that pattern that I showed you earlier, let's look at that again. We've got the root, we've got the second, we've got the flat third, we've got the fourth, we've got the fifth, flat six. And remember, we had this leading note to the root note of that C harmonic minor scale. You can hear the difference between that and the natural minor. So you can hear, we get this interesting sound here, but it works superbly over this chord here, over this G7 with this alteration, this sharp 5. That sharp 5, we're borrowing that from that harmonic minor. That's really borrowed from the harmonic minor, and it's going to stick out. Is that now? What's cool about that is this is where it starts to link us back to the harmonic minor as well. Paul, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Casey Rodriguez here wanting me to sing Happy Birthday. I'm not singing Happy Birthday. So this is the pattern that you need to play here, guys. Now the chords don't like there is a resolution. Don't sound like there's a resolution. When you get to this, it does when. If you land on you finish it on your minor blues, then you're going to get a bit more feeling of resolution, especially if you go from this 5 here, this 5 chord, and we end up with it here. So this is what it looks like when we play up here. We get the same thing. So we get the root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat 6. There's the 7th. Now it should go there, but what we can do is we can just mold it into that minor pentatonic still. So listen to that. I've got this half step bend here. So now I can hybrid between the harmonic minor and the blues here. Yeah, because that's still going to be on that C minor 7, just there. So D minor 7. Okay. We can think to ourselves, just thinking that C blues there. Where we got. But then when it goes to that 7 chord, that 5 chord with the dominant 7th with the sharp 5, then. And the cool thing is it's not that hard to play. It's just jaws in 2 different positions. Yeah, so we can put that there. Now, what I think is interesting as well is if we want to add a bit more flavour with this minor 7, there's the shell chord minor 7 that we had. If I go back to the bar chord version, which is this, it's a bigger voicing. What I can do is I can introduce other outside notes to fruit up this home chord as well, just so it just sounds a bit more mysterious, and we go here. So I've got this C minor 13. Listen to the sound of this one. Yeah, just by adding that pinky there, we get the 13. Well, it says a 6 on here, but it's a 13. Now, what I like about that is it shows me this little shape. So we can think we go D minor 7 flat 5, G7, no resolution. We get some right old gronkiness on that. That's what I call gronky sound. Yeah. So you can see how I just started that if you go from a D minor 7 to the G7. So I moved from that shape back into my pentatonic. So I'm just adding that little bit of a fragment, and it's just that note, and that note. Another one. Oh, there you go. Right. So that's the shape there. We can play that as a shell chord like this. Yeah, don't have to play it as a bar. If you struggle with the bar, then you can just play it like this. But and another sound that I particularly like in and amongst this is this minor 6 sound here. Look, here's the C minor 6. Now this, I'll just write these here. These are at the 3rd fret. These are at the 3rd fret, and this one is at the 8th fret. So let me put this up here. That's squeezing into my thing. So this one here, I'm going to use this shape here. It just sounds so good, does this? This shape here. It looks like this. It feels like a bit like a G chord there. Look, when you put your 2 fingers on for a G chord, or you might think of it as being almost like playing a. Yeah, we won't go there with that one. Yeah, we could do with the D sus4. You know how you play a D sus4 with that pinky on? Take that finger off there and then put that over there. I'm muting the A string and I'm not playing the thin E string as well. So this C minor 6, it's a lovely sound. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm playing that, but you can see the 6th is there. Okay, so I've got, and I can play the same thing here. I played a G. I played the Hendrix chord there. I played a G7 with a sharp 9 there because I'm looking for that alteration to make it a little bit more dissonant. Okay. So that's the basic version. That we can go D minor 7 flat 5, G7, and then we can go with that 13th chord like that, which is basically a diagonal. Can you see how the beautiful thing about this is it brings in something Tim Miller calls these 2-1-2s. 2 notes, 1 note, 2. Yeah, but there's somebody else who I got nicked this off. So you can see I'm using that shape there from the chord. And I'm using this shape here from the chord, from the home chord there. Good little exercise. Yeah, on Buck Rogers in the 25th century with was it Tweaky? Biddy 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 biddy. But the cool thing is, so you can hear that's kind of the flavor, and this is more moody. Let me just remind you of what the D minor 7 flat 5 to the ending on that major 7 there sounded like. Listen to how this is the relaxing walking in France, you know. Oh my darling, you know, you're speaking French here. And you can still play that over the C minor blues over the top of that as well, which is really cool. But we want to make it more interesting. Substitute this chord here. Now, here comes the cool stuff. This is cool stuff. Now, I'm gonna go back to. Shall I do a trick? I've got a sheet here. Let me just see. I just want to show you something. About this diminished in this key. Right? I'm just going to show you the pattern. Let me switch over to the overhead there. Is that the one with the... Is it this one? No, it might be this one. Is it this one? Yes, it is. It's this one. Boom. Right, okay. Right, so now what we've got here. This is the diminished. I was showing you how that diminished thing worked, and I just want you to see this pattern. Look at that. Look at how it just goes all the way across. And it's great for helping you to learn your fretboard. No, Patrick, I understand. Okay, I know. But still stick with it. Play the chords. Okay, play the chords. So you can see we've got these tritones all stacked upon each other. F to B, B to F, B to F. So it's really useful to help you. But what happens is this pattern. Yeah, this pattern is great because what we can do is we can just walk up it in the flat thirds. Yeah, minor thirds. You can hear that we get that. So then we start to see where we can fit in this diminished sound. But the cool thing is what we've done is we've moved up this pattern. Okay? What are the diamonds representing? The diamonds? The diamonds? Not sure what you mean by the diamonds. These shapes here, do they look like diamonds? So what we've got here, we have the altered, we do have the altered tones here. So this is for your neoclassical stuff, but this is the same framework that you'd see underneath that. Let me just scoot along. Oh, wrong one, wrong diagram. But that's one of the patterns that I wanted to show you. But this is the cool one. I just need you to see this. This is another of the shapes. So what we can do is this is the diminished shapes. Okay. Moving up a minor third. You get this here. Moving up a minor third again. Moving up a minor third again. That's the way we're kind of thinking about it. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this little shape here. Diamonds in the chords. Oh, right, the previous. All right, those were those extra notes. Basically those are the extra notes there, Terry. Yeah, those are just extra colour. Yeah, they're nothing to do with what we're talking about now. This is the diminished. So you can hear. So I just want you to be able to hear this. Now, if you want to think about it, the way we've been looking at this, we've been looking at it as a have I done this in a different key? I think I might have done. But I just wanted to show you these patterns here, how they move up like this. Okay, R is traditionally the root, yes. But the thing is, I wanted you to see in this diagram here, if you look at the black diagram down by the head note here, you can see F, D, A flat, B. Okay, look at the orange diagram. A flat, F, B, D. Same letters. Okay. Same letters. Look at the green chord diagram. We've got B, A flat, D, F. Same letters. Look at this. D, B, F, A flat. Same letters. And I've repeated that up here again just to show you, because sometimes I think the head note hides shapes from us a little bit. So that's one of your diminished chord shapes. So if you're wanting to play this, you know, in some key or other, then you need to know which one it is, which family you're in. And then you've got, this is the shape that I already showed you, and this is it in its 4 positions. They're all in these are all they're not diminished triads, they're diminished tetrads, Anik. They are 4 notes, because there's 4 notes. Triad is 3 notes, okay? But I need you to see the symmetry of these. Yeah, there's a symmetrical beauty to them. Look at this green diagram here. B, F, A flat, D. And if we look at the purple one, you'll see you get the same notes, but in different positions. What do diminished chords resolve to? It's the leading note chord, so it wants to resolve to the tonic. Okay? So it's chord 7 in the harmonic minor. It wants to resolve to the 1 in the harmonic minor. But remember, for today's purposes, the 1 chord was the minor with the major 7, and that sounds just a little bit too kooky. It's the James Bond sound. You don't want to end on the James Bond sound unless you're writing music for a James Bond movie. So basically we just iron that out, and we just switch back to the natural minor and borrow from that instead. So we're kind of straddling 2 different harmonies here. So you can see, but back to this diagram here, you can see the F, the B, the D, A flat on the black chord diagram there. If you play that shape there, you'll see. And the thing is that this is just moving up in minor thirds, guys. It's just moving up in minor thirds. A flat, D, F, B. Okay? Look at that. So that's one of the other shapes. We have another shape that we can use as well. So I think of it as 3 diminished chord shapes. Okay? So look, and here, this is one. If you looked at this one here, hang on, let me just do it. I can do this because I can do this live. Right? If I take that there, we've got an E7 chord. Yeah, that's an E7 chord. So I want you to see how close you can get to these here, get to these shapes here. If I pull this back here, that's a B flat chord. Yeah, okay. If I pull any of these back, I can get a 7th chord. All right. Pull it back. I get that is a D flat 7. So we've got all this, but look, the diminished is so close. The diminished sound is so close to the dominant 7th sound. How do I finger that form? Let's have a look at this. Let me show you how I finger this form. Now, it's yet again, yeah. So I'm on this one here. I'm at the 3rd fret. You put 2 fingers on. Look at it. It looks like a D shape, and then I put the pinky on the thin E string. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up in minor thirds. That's all I need to do. Okay. Until I get back. Here again. Yep, that's what I would do there. But the cool thing is Remember the pattern that we had? That one lives there. Now, this is where it becomes super cool, because you can see that we've shifted into one of those shapes there, and that's where it lives. We get onto that. There, look. Into that shape. That shape lives there. But they all move in minor thirds. Okay, so what's that? Kevin Hall, or diminished, or half diminished. I wouldn't personally. I like that movement, so I can switch around from a diminished sound to this. This is a kind of a seventh chord. Yeah, it's a seventh. I'm thinking of that as a minor seven. It could be. There's a few chords that could be there. But what I'm saying is don't be static in your fingering. I think what a bar does is it fixes you in a certain position, unless you need to reach for something with your pinky. Okay, so that's what I'm saying with that. So just so you got it. There's three patterns. This one, the root notes on the E string. Yeah. Okay. This one, the root notes on the A string. This one, the root notes on the D string. So you got those patterns. Now here's where it gets good, guys. Now you know those the string pairs that we've done before, where we've done elevator triangles. This brings you into that Ingve territory. This is still the same key, guys. It's still the same key. Right? So what we do. All I did was, I'm going up the triangles. Now we've done it before in pentatonics. I've shown you them in pentatonics. But the thing is, we get them in the diminished as well. So if I look at this, you can see that we get one here at the 7th fret. So it starts to sound more outside, and this is where we get those jazzy things. But if you want to keep it Ingve, yeah. Then we just move that same up there. Just moving it up in minor thirds, big triangles, but we can also play them here. So if I put that on there, you can see where we get this, where we get these. And that's where this is. I think maybe this is a bit too. I'm just worried about taking this a little bit too far. But I want you to see these triangles. There's another way. There is another way of looking at these. This diagram here. I'm going to do the sod it. I'll do the diagrams. So let's do them. Let's do them. I'm here. Okay. We've got this. This is a good one. This is string skipping. What we can do is we can take this same diminished. Now what I could ordinarily do is put the triangle there. Hang on. And then I've got the minor third stretch here. But I have it here as well. Yeah. So So then you can see you can get that diminished all the way up the neck there like that. This is a way of doing this. This is in a different family, but that just struck me. There was something I used to do years ago that did that. So that's another way of looking at this diminished. All right. This is a good one. Now this one is really good because now you can start to tie this into some of your chords. So in this, so I'd see it on this. I look at starting on that flat 5 and seeing where this shape lives, and extend it up a minor third on that on the D string, and a minor third on the B string. So you can hear that, how that's going to work. And this is another thing where I'm putting everything into groups of 4s. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Back for this note. 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to go up as well. I'm using neck diagrams, version 2. Yeah, and this is going to move in the same way. So you can see I've just put those little arpeggios together there, but I'm thinking, what can I have? I can have that on there. Now I could ordinarily, because if I'm thinking to myself that this is the 2 chord in the natural minor, I could put the scale that lives with that is going to be the Locrian. No, it isn't. What is it, Ricky? Yeah, it is. Of course it is. Yeah. Now I could put that there, but and then I could put the diminished on there as well. Okay. And I'm back into my harmonic minor as well here again. So there is that. But I think you know, when you're starting out with this, yes, I've got all these cool little diagrams here and how you can see how this diminished hooks up. That's the good one as well. This is the one that I really like this one because what I'm doing is on this. Is that right? Have I got one of these notes wrong? Yeah, that D flat, that shouldn't be there. Let me just move it into the right position. Should be there. Right, that's it. That's the cool thing. What I could do with this is the one that goes like this. But once you see this, then you can start to see. I blended it. Yeah, so I'm going in this groupings of 4. So I'm going minor third, yeah, and then there's my diminished triangle onto my flat 5, back into my minor blues. Yeah, onto that there. I could pass through it and go into this as being my harmonic minor. So hopefully you can hear. Got that choice. Okay, so this is, like I say, there's so much to unpack in this, and I think the thing is playing along with the backing track as well. that was the shape that I showed you before. But somebody did mention augmented, and I wanted to show you this. I wanted to show you this on this this chord here. There's a lot of information in this, guys. There is a lot of information, and I don't think I'm being I don't think I'm talking crap when I say that I've seen people put stuff like this in super expensive courses, and I'm not going to do that. I'm giving it here. Yeah, you can watch this, and you draw these diagrams out yourself. So here is this chord again, and this here is the giveaway again. So what we've done is we've looked at the diminished sound, but what somebody mentioned is the augmented, and this is where the augmented comes in. You see where those two notes are there? Follow that blue line across, and I want you to see where the augmented triad lives. So look at this here. We've got this G7 with the sharp 5 here. We take that shape there and we turn that into that augmented sound. And all the augmented is major thirds stacked on top of each other. Yeah, but here, we take this bit here, and that is a major third as well. There's the minor third, there's the major third. So I'm sliding up from an E flat to a G here, which happens to be the root note of this chord. So what I can do is, there's my chord. I can put a little augmented idea in here as well, which is pretty cool. And then when I land here, I'm just naturally into my C minor blues pattern. Yeah. So you can hear that you get this really interesting kind of sound. Now it's not the diminished, because you remember what the diminished. This is a bit more Lady in Peril, whereas the augmented sounds a bit more like Tom and Jerry, because these guys augmented chords move in steps. I always, when I think of augmented triads, I always think about the whole tone scale. You know where Tom and Jerry just been bonked on the head with a hammer, and now he's sliding down some stairs after unsuccessfully catching the mouse. But so you get that tension on that, and then we get that harmonic minor there. No worries, Al. You'll pick it back up in PDF Club. It's gonna take a few views. Is this? You're gonna need to look at it over and over again. Don't worry about keeping up. But like I say, in PDF Club there'll be the scales for this as well. I've put these, and what I've done is I've done them in 2 positions. We've got box 1 at the 8th position, which I've been showing you. And we've got box 4 at the minor position, because I think I think the thing is with when it comes to your scales and stuff, when it comes to scales, start simple, yeah? If you just need, music's a language, yeah? You just need 2 voices having a conversation. And I always think to myself, box 1 that's where we all start, so it's where we're most comfortable. So that's probably where you get your voice from first. Yeah, you find out where the licks are and the Jimmy Page things and just all that stuff. Yeah, so you know where all that is. But then you need another voice to have a conversation, and I think that the most natural choice is box 4 of the pentatonic. So that's what I'm saying here. And then what we do is we use that as a skeleton, yeah, because that's the easiest scale. You reference the video where it goes 3 and 2 with the 3 and 2 pentatonics. There's a mug. I've done it as a mug because it's so important. And then so you get that. Look, so we've got there's minors there. Then what we do is we alter them. We add the flat 5 to turn it into a minor blues. Okay, in those two positions, so that you can speak in your voice and the other character's voice. So conversation. Remember, it's conversational that we're after. Minor blues there. And then what we do is with that skeleton, we add some extra notes and we end up with this harmonic minor with the alteration of that flat 7. I think of this one here. But then you'll start to see also, the beautiful thing is you start to see all sorts of different little things cropping up in that. So if I've got that there and I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking the third, this position. And I can see, look, there's a triad there. But if I move, there's a triad here as well. And that's a flat major second to, is that to the 5? So we can, we could just move around those little ideas there. So augmented. Got those chords that we can put in there. Keep it simple. I wasn't doing anything too fancy. I just put a trick. I just thought to myself, right, I'll bend on these notes. I'll bend the notes, be very vocal, and then move up to the other box. So I'm thinking box 1 is here, box 4 is here, and just move in between those. Yeah, you start to fill out the gaps in between eventually, and you use these little bits. See, so these little things, they just start to sneak in, and then you've got some more colour in your playing. You're not boring yourself with the pentatonic. Now, guys, so more more drawings generated for today's lesson, and more other stuff to come in as well for PDF Club, for the folks in PDF Club there. And I was just thinking, the thing that I've got a sheet over here that I thought, I hope I have enough for today. I've had enough for today to teach you. But the thing is, I've got another thing over there that I wanted to show you how you can use this, how you can use the circle of thirds for superimposing triads. We've done a lot of talking about, I've done a lot of talking about putting the same chord over the same scale over the same chord, sort of thing, the related chord and the related scale. But what we can do is we can superimpose other things. It's like there's some really cool things that we can do with it, and that's why I wanted to share. Harmonic minor, it's a fair distance away from standard diatonic harmony. Yeah, the major and minor stuff that you know and love. That's okay, but if you want to get a bit more exotic, or you just want to know where the hell does that E chord come from, okay, you know what I mean? Where the hell does that come from? So, but that diminished lick was on fire. Thank you, Drew. But the thing is, you see, it's just knowing how it works and its patterns. Follow the patterns, and that's where you'll find those sounds. Right, guys. I think have we done it? Oh, 2 hours 15. Yeah, I think we're just about there, aren't we? I baked your heads last week, and I've probably baked a few heads today, but this is all good stuff, yeah. And I want you to understand, like I say, where the hell did that E7 come from? It's not in the key, no. But hopefully you'll go, that's the one. So that's the one I want to say to you today. Anyhow, what I'll do is I will scan everything. Like I say, I've got there's a few other bits and bobs in that handout as well. There's some nice little fingerings as well for the. Let me just share. I'll just share this as well. We've got some nice little fingerings for the harmonic minor. How you can tackle that as in string pairs. String pairs come in again, and there's two patterns when you start using it as string pairs like that. So there's another pattern there to show you. So there we go. There we go. So there's this. Oh look, and that's your augmented. That's the augmented pattern. I needed to put that in there just to show you that as well. So hopefully you can see there's a symmetry. So we're applying, this is where the symmetry starts to come in. So we really need to get all that in there. So like I say, that one there, that's the augmented. So there's the chord. There's the chord you're superimposing on top of it. And you can even see there's a secondary one if you wanted it. And then that's how it links into your minor pentatonic. Okay, you're gonna need to rewatch this. Yeah, you if you need to rewatch it, it's fine. That's what we're gonna do now. Yeah, there was a bit more practical stuff in this. What are these XPS? By the way, I don't know what XPS is. Yeah, so if you want the PDFs for this, then they're going to be in PDF Club, which is here. If you want to check that out there, I'll put there's a link in the description as well for this video. And and then and what we'll do is I'll put them in there. If you want to, if you're not, you don't want to join PDF Club and you want to support me, then buy the book and you won't regret it. It's 80 lessons in it, loads of 80 videos to go along with each of the lessons, and generally that's what I do. I think next one that I do, I'm going to do a lesson from the book next week. So actually, no lesson next Wednesday. Yeah, so no lesson next Wednesday, so I'll be back in 2 weeks. And I'll see you then, guys. But for now, what we're going to do... What have I got? Oh, I've got this. The drums are a bit wonky on it, but I've done another backing track. This is the C minor, 2-5-1. Yeah? See if that'll play as I switch to the outro. Yes? Nice to see you, Al. Nice to see you in the chat. You're going to have to rewatch. Yes. Guys, remember who you're playing for. Playing for yourself, okay? So, all that remains is for me to say, look after yourself. Yes, look after yourself, look after each other, and take care.